Welcome to the Inevitable Podcast featuring William Sumner, creator of the Inevitable You coaching system, which focuses on personal power and potential. It is a unique blend of the latest in neurosciences and New Age ideas and philosophies, and it is designed to help you discover your greatness. This is the second episode in a series of 6 that covers the 9 enhancements of the Law of Attraction. William focuses on the power and importance of emotions when manifesting our outcomes in life, and he teaches us how to use them to effectively create the things we want. This episode starts with a caller.
Jamie, welcome to the program. What can I do for you?
Hi. I was just listening to, I think it was Lindsay's story, or not story, but call in, and I see what she's saying, and, you know, she had those doubts about, oh my gosh, I feel this. I must be sick. I must have some horrible thing. Well, you know, with my situation, you know, I've been focusing on financial freedom and abundance for, oh my gosh, probably two and a half years now, and I've taken the actions. I've believed. I've thought. I've affirmed. I've known in my head that I'm totally financially free and abundant, yet I find myself in this situation now where I have no idea how it got so bad, and I don't know what to do. And I never had those doubts like the last caller was saying, you know, where she, you know, thought, oh my gosh, this is terrible. You know, I'm sick. I'm this. You know, and I've been believing this whole time, and not one doubt in my mind, even with the opposition of my friends and my family, and you know, just my people surrounding me. So I'm lost. Like, I've watched The Secret, I've read the book, I love the theories and everything, but I don't know what to do.
Jamie, I'm going to tell you 2 big things. We're going to spend a little bit of time with you. Are you up for this? You really want to change this?
Oh, geez. I do really want to change things. I don't want to take up your show if you have more important calls to take.
Oh, no. You are the reason why this call is here, because you are inevitable. So I'm going to cover 2 big things with you that I think everybody's going to find a lot of interest in. I started to touch on the first one with Lindsay, and that's the emotional content and the emotional connection that you have to a topic. I'm going to talk about this, and I want you to be really honest with yourself, Jamie, and I want you to feel this kind of world that I'm going to describe for you. In one universe, you are working on believing and feeling abundant and affirming abundant and taking that action. And generally, when I'm working with a client and they come in and they say, okay, I'm doing all those things, I'll say, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit in that chair, and I want you to actually go into that place where you are affirming and you're believing. And generally, 90+% will sit there, and they'll put a smile on their face. They'll feel pretty good. They might steeple their hands. They might relax their body, and they go, oh, there I am, abundant and money coming in, and oh, this is amazing. And they're doing that kind of affirmation. Does that feel kind of what you do? Does that feel kind of normal for you?
Yes, absolutely. But I kind of know where you're going here, and well, I think I know where you're going. And
well, you're a clairvoyant in addition to being abundant.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's just that I have been doing this for a long time, and I have talked to other people, you know, that are like, "Do you truly believe this?" And I mean, I have planned out every single thing I'm doing. I mean, excited where I'm screaming, jumping up and down, happy about it. And I still am in this place that I'm at. And so kind of before you go on, because I know you have a lot of great things to say, I'm wondering if maybe it's because of maybe other things I'm bringing into my life that could be causing, you know, this aspect of my life to not be going the way that I'm hoping, planning, affirming, expecting, knowing, believing.
Well, and you're going to connect to the second part of my comment, but even though you're clairvoyant, for the rest of the listeners, I still want to cover this point because it's really important, because for the most part, our culture, Americans, are not very good at this. Mm-hmm. And again, understanding both from a neural pattern perspective, the peptides that are running around in your body making you feel successful or making you feel anxious is driven by a neural pattern, is driven by a thought and a meaning that your mind is creating. Now, what most people do when they're in that affirmative state, which most people will say, well, I spent 15 minutes this morning, or I did it last night, or I'm feeling pretty good, I did it on my drive to work. They arrive at work. Problem number one is that the affirmation, the emotional intensity, you picture this little incredible box that I invented. It's sitting right in front of you. It's got a little scale of 1 to 10, and it's called the emotional intensity meter. And if you were to measure the intensity, it doesn't care whether it's a positive or a negative emotion. It cares about the intensity, because the intensity of the emotion is what drives the attraction, and it's what drives the neural pattern that's engaged. Most people, when they're in the affirmative, will sit there, and if you were to feel your emotional intensity, or you to feel when I was saying, oh, I have a smile on my face and I'm very happy and I'm sitting there and there's my wealth, there's my abundance, there's my affirmation that I deserve this. Generally, the deeper truth is, for this culture, because we're not good at expressing positive emotions, most of the time, while you've said sometimes I scream and jump up and down, I'm happy, a lot of times people in the positive affirmation will sit there, and it's really an intellectual exercise. They see themselves getting the Ed McMahon check. They see the business deal being signed. The salesperson sees the big win happening on their contract, but they see it over there. They feel it over there. They don't really feel that in the moment, compared to they go to work, they open up their email, they go to their job, they see their boss coming toward them with a glare on his or her face, and they go into the anxiety place, they go into the anxious place, they go into the stress place at a much higher emotional intensity. So, Jamie, and again, this is a rhetorical question for you. You're not on the hook for I'm right, you're wrong, or I want this specific count. I just want you to feel this. For most people that are having a long-term continued challenge, the problem is, while there might be those moments of screaming and jumping up and down and happy, let's say that's 5 minutes long and your emotional intensity is 10, if you're sitting there with your spouse or a boyfriend and you're talking about, the debt that we have or the problem that we have, the intensity, the anxiety, the stress, the fear that's running through your body is very high, and it's sustained. We can feel crappy, most of us, for a very long time. And so in the balance, when you look at, if we actually looked and counted, all right, for 15 minutes, we jumped up and down and we had, X trillion happy neuropeptides running around our body. And then for the rest of the day, our job wasn't going well. The stress was at work, and we had an argument when we got home that night, and looked at the amount of time and the intensity, because this culture loves to reward negative intensity. And so if you're sitting in your cube at work and you're going, I'm having a terrible day, or you even see that email that really angers you and you're upset about something, your cube mate will go, I'm upset too. Let's go to lunch and talk about how upset we are. So just want you to think about and feel on a daily basis, am I putting actual more time in and more intensity in on the feelings of anxiety and stress and scarcity, if the challenge that you're chasing is abundance, versus the true time and intensity that you're feeling about joy and abundant, and it's truly going to work for you. So that's big point number one.
I want to take a moment to thank you for listening to the Inevitable You podcast. If you are seeking additional information about what we have been talking about, please visit www.theinevitableyou.com.
Well, as much as I'd love to refute what you're saying, something you said really struck me. You said we see it over there, and it's kind of what I just realized that I do. Is not that it's over there, but I put myself in a timeline, like, as soon as this happens, everything will be okay. As soon as in 6 months, everything will be fine. And I don't want to say that I'm putting it off. But that really kind of hit me that, yes, maybe I am putting it off to the future as opposed to now. And it is my present. It is my destiny. It is right now, right here in my hands. And
yeah, you have to And the movie does a good job of this. It talks about you have to have the feeling in your body. And step 3, which is our enhancement 3 that we haven't even got to, but it's the inspired action. The movie actually tells you that it's receive. I don't believe that. It is reception, but how you act on and believe in and create this as a true holistic 3-step process is you have to take the inspired action that you would take if the object of your desire is present in your life. So, for instance, I can't tell you how many people come in and see me and they're talking about abundance, but they have it over there. They have it in their future. They're mired and immersed in their debt. They feel their debt. They feel the anxiety. They feel crappy. They're struggling mightily to get out of it. And the inspired actions they take are really more congruent with what somebody in debt would take. Mm-hmm. When a person who has true abundance, they read the Wall Street Journal, they sign up for investment classes, they act like they have money. So when you believe you're abundant, you have that feeling in your body, it's not in the future, it's now. And the success is now, and the problems go away. But this is kind of like one big chunk about how the emotions connect and how you really affirm and believe it. The second really giant part that I'm going to cover is I'm actually going to start with another metaphor, and it comes in a form of a question. And that is this: do you believe that most obese or overweight people want to be thin?
Absolutely.
And that's a normal answer. Most people will actually believe, yeah, most obese, heavy, overweight people want to be thin. But I'm going to go into a really interesting mental space, a really interesting neural place for these folks. And that is this place. When you sit and your life is not happy because you're overweight, and you sit there and think, and we're going to connect to the emotional intensity. When I'm thin, my life's going to be amazing. When I'm thin, my problems are going to go away because my problems are because I'm fat. And when I'm thin, I'm going to have a new relationship. And when I get in shape, people are going to love me and I'll get a new job. So we do this really deep law of attraction, neural peptide brain program that says when I'm thin, something amazing is going to happen for me. Now, they constantly are trying. I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and goes, hey, I've got a great plan for myself. I think I'm going to shove 17 Twinkies in today, and I'm going to break my diet, and I'm going to gain a couple more pounds back. Nobody wakes up in the morning and does that. But here's what they do wake up in the morning and do.
Absolutely.
What happens, they start their diet. They find a friend they say, oh, you've lost weight, you're looking great. And whether it's South Beach or Atkins, it doesn't matter. Virtually all diets work when they're followed. And they begin to lose weight on this new diet, and they're beginning to look thin, and people are beginning to comment and going like, wow, you look great. And so the deep attraction that they've put in place, the deep neural pattern that they put in place, which is when I'm thin, I need to be amazing, kicks in. And so their brain is screaming at them, you need to leave your job. You need to drop that relationship. You need to ask that beautiful model out or that amazing guy that stands in front of you in Starbucks every morning. You need to do these things now. And the ego kicks in. There's another neural programming running. The ego kicks in its fear-based state and says, what? You're not amazing yet. You can't quit your job yet. You can't drop this relationship. You can't afford to ask that guy out, that model out, and be refused. And so the neural program that's run by the ego that's in direct conflict, and the ego where all our fears live and where a lot of these negative programs run, the unconscious is trying to say, when I'm thin, I'm going to be amazing. But the ego, which has a deeper conscious connection to us, says, no, you're not so amazing. And you better not do one more pound or you're going to be in a lot of danger. So this concept in neural programming, Jamie, is called a neurally linked program. And what that means is the state that you say that you desire. So for other folks out there, put your biggest desire that you're trying to attract in your life, whether you want to win a new sales job, you want to, you want to be free of depression and free of medication, and you want to be happy and joyous, or you want this relationship to be this or that, or you want to be rid of an anger pattern in your life. Think of this. Jamie, you've said, I'm focused very much on my success and on financial abundance. I'm almost going to bet there's another program that's running that says when I'm financially successful, when I have all the money I want, and again, it's counterintuitive, so you really have to feel this and think into this one, because it's like asking an overweight person, like, well, what's going to happen when you're thin? And they go, greatness, man, I'm going to be, I wish I was a size 2. But you understand how that deeper program runs against that for an overweight person? Jamie, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So you have to ask yourself, is there another program running that when I have all the money I want, when I'm out of debt, when I am a successful businesswoman, what's the other program that's running that really causes you to clutch and causes you to go, oh, but then I've got to do something different. There's another expectation, or people will expect more, or there's some shift in the game that's going to take place when you are debt-free and you're rich, that you're so focused on the debt and focused on the anxiety, but then you're working so hard to see it in your future. Do you know what that other program that's running that says, yeah, no, if I actually were to be wealthy right now, I got a whole different set of problems?
Honestly, I don't see it, because I envision this life, and, it's going to sound cheesy, but I want to have babies and just relax. I mean, not that having babies is relaxing, but I just see this whole life for me with being financially free. And
are you in a successful relationship now?
Semi-successful. I mean, I'm not married yet, but
it is a highly successful. You have found your soulmate?
I definitely think that I've never met anybody like this guy before. And, we've taken a lot of steps and involved ourselves with each other. And, we're not married, but we've talked about the future, and, who knows? Maybe that is one of my patterns. I don't know. I've never felt like this about anybody before.
Because, for example, and maybe you're going to come out of the pattern if you found your soulmate. For example, one of the ways this could have worked in the past, if you link financial success to freedom, which means I can now marry, which means I can now have babies, which means I can begin that phase of my life, but you don't have the man present, or your relationships are failing, or you're not in a space where you've had success at creating that, the deeper truth might be you're not. You had said earlier, is it something else I'm bringing into the program? This could be the something else. This could be, gosh, I might have to be successful in a relationship, and this isn't the guy yet. So as long as you can stay focused on scarcity, which is not having a guy and not having the money, sometimes these neural links, they're kind of funny. If you journal sometimes, if you think about it, if you focus deep into your life on it. But Jamie, thank you so much. You've been a great caller tonight. Thank you for being vulnerable and putting it out there. And thanks to all my listeners out there. You are an inevitable audience. You came here for a fantastic, amazing, extraordinary purpose. If you think about it, success is a recipe. Good luck. Have a great night.
Thank you for listening to the Inevitable Podcast. William will be covering more of the 9 enhancements on the next episode. To learn more about this extraordinary coaching system, please visit our website at www.theinevitableyou.com, where you can begin transforming your life today.